Welcome to Flash Core, your sharpest source for daily headlines and deep dives. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay ahead of the curve. In the world of international diplomacy, speeches are often long, winding, and filled with carefully chosen words that rarely challenge the status quo. Most addresses at global summits are crafted to avoid controversy, to maintain a delicate balance, and to ensure that no one is truly offended. The result? Hours of polite conversation, but very little that truly moves the needle. But on September 3, 2025, at a high-stakes United Nations summit, Indian External Affairs Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar shattered expectations. In a moment that would be replayed around the world, he delivered a speech that lasted just 60 seconds, but its impact would echo for years to come. Unlike the usual addresses, his speech was not filled with diplomatic pleasantries or the kind of vague promises that often characterize such events. There was no attempt to sugarcoat the issues or to hide behind protocol. Instead, Jaishankar's words were direct, bold, and impossible to ignore. He spoke with a conviction that cut through the noise, demanding the attention of everyone in the room. As Jaishankar approached the podium, delegates from every corner of the globe expected another routine set of remarks. Perhaps a call for cooperation or a gentle reminder of shared responsibilities. But his very first words immediately shifted the atmosphere. The room, accustomed to predictability, was suddenly alert, sensing that something different was unfolding. He spoke with remarkable clarity and force, skipping the usual preamble and getting straight to the heart of the matter. There was no hesitation, no diplomatic dance, just a clear, unwavering message. His message was revolutionary. Developing nations would no longer be passive consumers of technology, subject to the rules set by others. Instead, they would actively shape the rules, the ethics, and the very future of global technology. It was a call for agency, for equality, and for a new world order. This was not a polite request for inclusion, nor a plea for a seat at the table. It was a bold declaration of intent, a statement that the era of passive acceptance was over. The speech stunned the room into absolute silence. Delegates who moments before had been distracted or disengaged, now sat frozen, absorbing the gravity of what had just been said. In an instant, Jaishankar's words became the defining moment of the summit. Diplomats scrambled in the corridors, urgently discussing the implications. Journalists rushed to file breaking news reports, and news alerts flashed across screens worldwide. The world's attention was now fixed on a single, electrifying minute. Jaishankar's 60 seconds overshadowed every other address at the summit. The agenda shifted, conversations changed, and the urgency in the air was unmistakable. Suddenly, the summit was no longer about routine discussions, it was about responding to a new, bold challenge. The world saw, perhaps for the first time in such a setting, that a single minute, if used wisely and courageously, could be more powerful than hours of negotiation or days of debate. It was a lesson in the value of brevity and the power of conviction. The speech was not just a moment of drama, it was a strategic move that fundamentally altered the summit's dynamics. Delegates began to reconsider their positions, and the entire tone of the conference shifted. It proved that in today's hyper-connected world, a powerful idea, delivered with clarity and conviction, can travel faster and hit harder than any lengthy treatise. Social media exploded with reactions, and Jaishankar's words trended across continents. In just 60 seconds, Jaishankar forced the world to confront uncomfortable truths it had long ignored. His speech was a wake-up call, a challenge, and a turning point in the history of international diplomacy. At the heart of Jaishankar's speech was a revolutionary idea: digital sovereignty. He spoke passionately about the urgent need for countries to reclaim control over their digital destinies, emphasizing that the digital world is now as important as the physical one. In today's interconnected era, he argued, the ability to shape digital policies is as vital as controlling borders or resources. Jaishankar highlighted that nations, especially those in the global south, must have the right to govern their own digital futures. For too long, he said, developing countries have been mere consumers of technology, with little say in how it is designed or regulated. He called for a new digital order where every nation, regardless of size or wealth, can participate in setting the rules. The rules for AI, data privacy, and online content, he insisted, should not be dictated by a handful of powerful corporations or a select group of countries. Instead, these critical decisions must reflect the diverse values, needs, and aspirations of people everywhere. He warned that allowing a few entities to control digital norms risks deepening global inequalities and undermining democracy. Instead, every nation deserves a seat at the table, ensuring technology serves all humanity. Jaishankar envisioned a world where international cooperation and mutual respect guide the development of digital infrastructure so that technology becomes a force for inclusion and empowerment, not division. This was a direct challenge to the status quo, where tech giants often wield more power than states. He pointed out that these corporations can shape public opinion, influence elections, and even override national laws, raising serious questions about accountability and sovereignty. Jaishankar's message was clear: the era of digital colonialism is over. He declared that self-determination in the digital age is a fundamental right, and that no nation should be forced to accept foreign control over its data, digital infrastructure, or online discourse. His call was not for protectionism, but for fairness, accountability, and respect for local laws and cultures. Jaishankar urged the world to build a digital future that is open, inclusive, and just, where technology uplifts societies and respects the unique identities of every nation. Jaishankar's speech came at a time of global tension over technology's role in society. Debates raged over tech giants' unchecked power, disinformation, and AI ethics. Nations were already divided, with the US and China pressuring others to pick sides in a new tech Cold War. Public trust in big tech was at an all-time low, with scandals and data breaches fueling anxiety. Jaishankar's call for digital sovereignty tapped into this unease, giving voice to nations feeling sidelined. His words turned a simmering debate into an open confrontation, forcing the world to face a challenge it could no longer ignore. The speech's impact soared when Elon Musk, owner of X and a key player in AI, took notice. Musk posted a clip of the speech with a single word: interesting. In Musk's world, that word signals disruption and serious consideration. His post went viral, elevating the speech from a diplomatic event to a global phenomenon. For Musk, Jaishankar's call for digital sovereignty was both a threat and an opportunity. Fragmented regulations could complicate business, but a new framework might break old power structures. Musk's attention underscored Jaishankar's point: technology and geopolitics are now inseparable. Tech leaders' decisions shape nations, and governments' policies shape tech. Musk's acknowledgement validated the speech and ensured digital sovereignty would remain a defining global issue. Jaishankar's 60-second speech sent shockwaves across the globe, igniting a cascade of opinions and sparking intense debate in every corner of the world. Within moments, newsrooms buzzed with activity, and social media platforms lit up with commentary, as people everywhere tried to make sense of his bold words. In the West, reactions were sharply divided. Some feared the speech signaled a new era of digital protectionism, raising concerns about a fragmented internet and the potential for increased barriers between nations. Tech industry leaders worried about the impact on global innovation and open markets. Yet, others, especially privacy advocates, digital rights groups, and regulators, welcomed Jaishankar's call for greater accountability from tech giants, seeing it as a necessary step toward protecting users and ensuring ethical standards online. For these advocates, the speech wasn't just about policy. It was about making the internet a safer, more democratic space for everyone. They saw hope for stronger protections against cyber threats, misinformation, and unchecked corporate power. Meanwhile, in the global south, the response was overwhelmingly positive and filled with optimism. People gathered in public spaces, watching the speech on their phones and celebrating what they saw as a turning point. Leaders and citizens alike viewed Jaishankar as a powerful champion for their cause, someone finally voicing the concerns of nations often sidelined in global tech debates. His words inspired hope for a more balanced digital future. His speech empowered countries long ignored in technology discussions, encouraging them to unite and demand a fairer, more inclusive digital order. For many, it was a rallying cry to collaborate and push for reforms that would benefit all, not just a privileged few. Media outlets worldwide dissected every word, with analysts debating its implications and social media buzzing with trending hashtags like #digitalsovereignty. The conversation quickly became a global phenomenon, drawing in voices from every background. The issues Jaishankar raised resonated far beyond diplomats and CEOs. Ordinary people, commuters, families, students, found themselves discussing digital rights and privacy at dinner tables, in classrooms, and on the streets. The speech made complex tech debates feel personal and urgent. In the end, the speech became a viral moment, uniting people across continents and backgrounds. It proved that debates about digital sovereignty, privacy, and fairness aren't just for experts. They matter to everyone, shaping the future we all share. Jaishankar's speech is a masterclass in political communication. In an age of information overload, a clear, concise message is more powerful than ever. He captured the world's attention by respecting its time and delivering his message with conviction. The digital age allows a single speech amplified by social media to set the global agenda in hours. Authenticity was key. Jaishankar spoke plainly, connecting with a world tired of political spin. His candor made the message memorable and persuasive. In today's politics, words are actions. A speech can challenge assumptions, rally allies, and shift narratives. Jaishankar's 60 seconds did all that, proving a well-crafted message can be a diplomat's most potent weapon. Jaishankar's speech marks a shift in global politics. The old unipolar order is fading, replaced by a multipolar world where rising powers like India demand a leading role. Middle powers now leverage their collective weight to challenge the established order. Technology governance has become central to international power struggles. Control over data and digital rules is the new great game. Jaishankar's speech reframed a technical issue as a core strategic interest. Public diplomacy is now crucial. Leaders must communicate directly with global audiences. Jaishankar's address was a masterclass in this, using a public forum to send a resonant message. In the new era, commanding public attention is as vital as economic or military strength. This moment was the culmination of India's evolving foreign policy under Jaishankar. India has shifted from non-alignment to multi-alignment, engaging global powers on its own terms. The speech showcased India's confidence and readiness to lead on global issues. With a booming economy and tech sector, India now claims a greater role in world affairs. Its digital infrastructure, like Aadhaar and UPI, gives India unique credibility in digital governance debates. Jaishankar spoke from experience, not theory, sharing lessons from India's digital journey. The speech marked India's arrival as a major independent force shaping the global order. As the dust settles, several lessons emerge from this event. First, the global tech conversation is incomplete without the developing world's full participation. Jaishankar's speech reminded us that most of the world lives outside Silicon Valley and Brussels. Their voices must shape the digital future. Second, modern leadership is about clarity and conviction, not just power. Authentic, persuasive communication is now essential for influence. Third, the tech industry must move from disruption to responsibility, working with governments to build a fair digital future. Finally, diplomacy and dialogue remain powerful tools. Sometimes a moment of candor is needed to break stalemates and spark real progress. That is the legacy of Jaishankar's 60 seconds, a call for courage, inclusion, and honest debate.